Okay, so first of all, I really enjoyed the film, and I think it offers a very believable look at modern relationships, and particularly sort of like a short-term love affair. And where did you draw the inspiration for the story?
I basically drew the inspiration for the film from my own screwed up relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't think they're screwed up at the time. You think there's something wrong with everybody else.
Exactly.
and I had the fall that I wrote this in 2014. Oh, that's right. That's 2014 right now. In 2004.
Yeah.
I had probably like the best like flings of my life, but because they were the best flings of my life, I thought each fling was like, oh my god, this is the one that's going somewhere, and they generally didn't last past the weekend.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the precipice for like how this all came together. I met my wife that summer, so it was only after I met her and I was like, oh no, all those things were so I could get into like be ready.
Yeah, exactly.
For this relationship, and then I kind of amalgamated all these different things that happened, like the scene where the film gets its title from, the pretend we're kissing scene, is a scene that happened to me that spring. So Jordan is like an amalgamation of all the girls I failed with.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of this sort of scene that if it happens to you, you can't not write it into a film. It's just sort of such a strange moment.
It was so absurd, and that was it was even stranger than that when it actually happened.
And was it?
You have to see the film to know what film we're talking about, what scene we're talking about.
Yeah, on Center Island.
Yeah,
which was a great sequence, by the way. So, like, how did you get permission to? They were mentioning you stayed there overnight. Did you have like releases and everything to do?
Yeah, we totally had permission to shoot on Toronto Island
for sure.
But in the scene when the boat leaves, that was the last boat off the island. So everyone was very nervous because we knew that we were committing to stay on the island, and there's no real accommodation on the island.
Yeah.
There's people that live on the island, so if you know someone,
exactly.
you could I guess bunk up for the night. But we all kind of like the people that were able to sleep slept in vans, and we kind of worked through the night, and it was forget how magical it was for the movie. It was kind of magical for the crew, I think, to be working on it. It was really cool.
For sure. And this is your first narrative feature, and it seems like everything came together quite nicely. But did you face any challenges in securing the right funds, or getting the film actually off the ground?
Well, I think the reason everything sort of came together for me was because it took so long to make.
Yeah.
2004 was when I wrote it. It got put on a shelf and off a shelf for almost 10 years until Telefilm had this amazing micro-budget program that the alchemy was just right for me with the script and where I was in my career. And so from 10 years coming, I was very sure in the vision that I had for the film, and I had been talking about it for so long with all my filmmaking friends that they were really able to support me and help me. And this film was made on the backs of my friends and my wife.
Awesome. And Dov Tiefenbach and Tommy Amber-Curry fit their characters very well. How do you go about casting them?
Tommy was I had no idea who Tommy was. What I like to do is every time I do a draft of a script, I like to have a read through.
Yeah.
Not everyone can do that, but because of my background as an actor, I know a lot of actors, and actors like acting.
Yeah.
So I do a draft of the script, find some big boardroom, do a read through, find out what was working, what wasn't working. So I did that about 7 times, and I never found an actress that I was like, oh, she has to play the part. I found a lot of people who I was like, why don't you come in? I think you could play this part. The last read through I had, the actress for Jordan couldn't make it. And a friend of ours, mine and Tommy's, Dave, was like, I know this girl Tommy, and she'd be great. And I'm way more out of acting than I was back then. So when when it was like someone I didn't know, I was like, who is this girl?
Yeah.
She came, and she was just incredible. And I guess her in the script, Jordan's mother passed away at an early age, and so Tommy's mother passed away at an early age as well. But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So when it came to that part in the script where Jordan's character talks about that, and that scene had so much gravitas, I was like, this is uncanny.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter that that was an experience she was able to draw from. There was something about that brought the whole thing together, because otherwise Jordan can be kind of flaky. But I think that's another moment where she comes off as real, and all those flaky things she says, you understand why she feels that way.
And I think it's also because much of the time we're seeing her through Benny's eyes. It's sort of this perfect,
Yeah, and that's something I think people will subtly feel is like we never see any of the characters without through any other, like there's never like a scene where like we just see like Jordan in her apartment by herself. We only see each character through Benny's eyes. So that's a real part where they really do connect. And Dove came to the table. I watched Dove in a lot of things for years, and I really liked him. We had never met. Someone suggested that I use him, and I felt because I originally had written this for myself, I felt like I was like, I don't know. I don't see many similarities between Dove and I. And but when I met him, there was something about how we spoke where I kind of felt like I was talking to myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're in. It was great.
And Zoe Kravitz is on the verge of becoming a huge star.
It's crazy. We got her like at the
Insurgent.
Yeah, it's amazing what's happening with her.
How did you land her for a supporting role in a small Toronto film?
We landed her because Dove and Zoe have a pre-existing relationship, and there was another actress that was attached to the film, and her series got picked up about 3 weeks before we were shooting, and I was scrambling trying to find somebody, and Zoe was on my list, but I kind of felt like I wasn't going to be able to get her. I didn't really have an immediate connection to her, and Dove had suggested it. Why not Zoe? Sometimes when actors suggest other actors that they say they're close with, you kind of take it with a grain of salt. So I wasn't totally positive, so I reached out to some other people and they were not available or maybe not interested. And then it was like, no, I really think you should reach out to Zoe. In fact, she crashed at my apartment once, and it was supposed to be for a weekend, and it turned into months. And I was like, okay, that's so like the character. And this close to production, I'll totally take advantage of the fact that you guys have pre-existing chemistry. And so now the only ingredient that I had left was that she liked the script, and she did, and she was available, and she came in for 4 days, and she was so lovely. She was the reason that she's going to go places is not because she's so talented, but because she's just an awesome girl.
And there are a lot of undertones of Woody Allen, particularly in the voiceover, which was great. And were his films a big inspiration behind Pretend We're Kissing?
When the original script of the film had a lot more to do with Before Sunrise and kind of the Richard Linklater style, but the more that I put the kind of things that make me laugh, it became way more into the Woody Allen kind of vibe. I love the relationship films that came out in the 70s and 80s, and a lot of those are Woody Allen films. Dove happens to have a little bit of a Woody Allen vibe coming to him. I think if I had cast a different actor, it wouldn't be so apparent. But also, my director of photography, Joshua Allen, and I were mentored by Gordon Willis, who was the DP that did Godfather and Annie Hall. So there was a bunch of things that came together to give it a little bit of a Woody Allen feel. And I guess the one difference is that Benny doesn't have voiceover in the film; it's his interior monologue. And I think that's something that separates it as well. But yeah, for sure, it totally has a Woody Allen vibe because I really enjoy Woody Allen movies.
Yeah, and this will be my last question. I'm a huge John Hughes fan, so I've got to ask.
I love John Hughes.
Yeah, you also directed a documentary about him, Don't You Forget About Me. Do you feel like his films or that experience helped inspire Pretend We're Kissing?
Well, there's a couple things. I learned while making Don't You Forget About Me that the original ending for Pretty in Pink didn't have Molly Ringwald hooking up with Andrew McCarthy's character, and test audiences were outraged. But when I learned that, I was like, well, that makes the film a lot more genuine and a lot more like real life, because I pined over people in high school who I really felt like I was going to go to the prom with, and then for whatever reason it didn't happen, and I'm thankful for those because that made me who I am today.
Exactly.
And I was like, so that kind of put a seed into my thought baby for Pretend We're Kissing. But more than anything, I think what I learned making that film was that John Hughes made films that he was proud of. He didn't really care what other people thought.
Yeah.
And so while making this, I really just wanted to like it myself at the end of the day. And hopefully when you like it yourself, that resonates with other people as well.
For sure.
When you try and make a film for other people, generally other people don't like it. So I hope because I like it, other people do.
Yeah, well, I certainly enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you guys.